I made a cult compass. I've been talking about this for a long time. It's basically a guessing game, and you can guess which cult you're referring to by answering these questions. There are 50 questions, but in my experience, it answers within like 10, at most like 15, and it will guess like dead on. It's eerie. And I thought about using AI to do it. It has zero AI. It's 100% just decision trees. It took me forever. I've got probably 50 hours in this. You can also take an assessment to tell if the group that you're in right now is a cult, and it talks about like what a cult is and stuff like that. And there's even more to this. You can also look at other groups and how they scored. Just kind of go through the questions and the answers, and it will tell you if it's destructive, and it'll tell you a little bit about cults as you go. This, for example, is the group structure and classification analysis. How control develops, centralized authority often emerges gradually. I selected like the maximum for all of them. So this is a destructive cult. It's a highly dangerous, destructive organization. But let me show you the completed tests. This one I just finished today. By the way, just a quick side note. It's not monetized, so I would appreciate it if you donated through PayPal or through Patreon. 2 buttons on the top here. This is all custom work, by the way. It took me forever. It was ridiculous. But you can go through and pick out any group that you want to analyze, and it'll show you the results. I added groups that are not necessarily considered cults, and I added cults. I just want to get kind of a broad range of different groups so that you can see how extreme some are compared to how moderate others are. So we've got like veganism, for example. Again, they're not all cults. I wanted to put them in here anyway. We've got QAnon, the MAGA movement, Westboro Baptist Church. Website for this, by the way, is cultcompass.org. So for example, like, you know what? Let's go to QAnon as the example. Yeah, here you go. So QAnon's answer: how centralized is decision making in your group? It's mixed. Some democratic, some leadership decisions. QAnon lacks traditional hierarchical structure. Q posts cryptic messages, Q drops, on anonymous boards, and a decentralized network of anons and influencers interpret them. No single leader controls the movement. Instead, popular interpreters gain followings on social media. And you can go through all of the questions and it will give you the answers. Like this one: how structure is a chain of command, clear structure with defined roles. While decentralized and informal hierarchy exists, Q at top, though identity unknown. We actually do know the identity. It's Ron Watkins. Major influencers or decoders who interpret drops, content creators who spread messages, and regular anons who research and share. Influence depends on follower count, perceived decoding ability. Anyway, it's based on the byte model and some research papers that I have written on the subject, particularly the extremism gradient. I wrote this paper forever ago about how there are different types of cults. There are decentralized and centralized, and there are focused and non-focused. So decentralized, focused cults are focused on a single individual. Decentralized means it doesn't have a hierarchy. That would be like your cult of personality. Centralized but non-focused would be like Jehovah's Witnesses, because they're not focused on a single individual as like the source of their whatever. Scientology would be centralized but focused because it's focused on L. Ron Hubbard. And an example of, wait, did I hit all 4 of them? I don't remember. Anyway, there are 4 types, and it goes through the first 4 questions to try to determine which of those 4 types your group is when you take the assessment. It has 11 sections. It has the group structure, which is what I was referring to. It has behavior control, information control, thought control, emotion control, social control, financial control, authority structure, recruitment, mission focus, digital control. I put so much work into this, it's ridiculous, and I hope you guys appreciate like the tool. I hope it's useful to everybody. But yeah, here, let's just do like the guessing game. It's still a work in progress. It could mess up while I'm live here, but let's try. How centralized is the decision making in your group? Let's do Jehovah's Witnesses. All decisions are made by a single leader or a small group. Next. How structured is the chain of command in your group? rigid hierarchy with strict ranks. How narrow and specific is your group's central focus? Everything centers on one doctrine or person. How uniform are beliefs and practices across your group? Completely identical. Now it's guessing along the side here. The current best match is Scientology. Second best is Jehovah's Witnesses, followed up by Nexium, Jonestown, and Heaven's Gate. How much control does a group have over your daily schedule? I would say for Jehovah's Witnesses, by the way, I did it on the Fibonacci sequence, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and 13. The reason I did that instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is because people can see a more dramatic increase for each point, and they're less inclined to go with 13 if it's not full tilt, where they may be waffling between 5 and 6 otherwise. So anyway, I would say Jehovah's Witnesses have most free time involving group activities. I would put in 8. And look, that was question 5. It already guessed Jehovah's Witnesses. Seriously impressive. Again, I considered using AI to guess, but I didn't need to in the end. There are these little devices from like the 90s and 2000s. They were called the 20 questions games. I don't know if you guys seen these things, but you can go through 20 questions and think of literally anything, and it will guess it within 20 questions, and it's crazy accurate. This is the exact same logic for the guessing game. Anyway, I hope you guys get some use out of it. I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, please check out the PayPal, check out the Patreon. I would appreciate it very much. Right now, it's completely stateless, which means it's not storing any information at all. Every time you hit next, it's querying the API again. Like, at no point is anything ever saved. There is no login system or anything yet. I intend to set up a login system where people can go to the homepage and hit the research archive, and I'll have a breakdown of a bunch of different cults, and people will be able to click on their cult and leave their stories about the cult, like a 500-word story or something. That's on the horizon. It's not here yet, but anyway, yeah, I designed the theme completely from the ground up, the WordPress theme. I designed the plugin, I designed the command line tools, and the everything for this. It was wild how long it took me. All right, let's go through MAGA. I just want to see, I just want to show you guys what the past assessment looks like for MAGA. How centralized is decision-making in your group? Strong central leadership with limited input. While the MAGA movement appears grassroots, messaging flows directly from Trump through social media, rallies, and official statements. Local leaders, influencers, and candidates take cues from Trump's positions, creating a clear top-down communication structure. When Trump changes position on an issue, the movement follows almost immediately, demonstrating centralized control over narrative and priorities. How structured is the chain of command in your group? Strong hierarchy with multiple levels. The movement operates through a hierarchy based on Trump's endorsements and proximity to him. Trump-endorsed candidates and officials holds the highest positions, followed by influencers who amplify his message, then local leaders and activists. Those who contradict Trump are quickly marginalized or expelled from positions of influence, regardless of their previous standing in the party or movement. How narrow and specific is your group's central focus? Every aspect of the movement revolves around Donald Trump personally. Policy positions, candidate support, and movement priorities are determined entirely by Trump's preferences. Members often describe Trump in messianic terms as chosen by God, the only one who can save America, or as a martyr being persecuted for their beliefs. The movement's identity is inseparable from Trump's personal brand and image. And then it gives an assessment at the end of each section. This group operates with highly centralized decision-making, rigid hierarchy, and uniform expectations. Leadership maintains significant control over group direction and member behavior. This is a 9.3 out of 13 for group structure. Centralized authority often emerges gradually, justified by claims of efficiency, special knowledge, or divine mandate. Leaders may genuinely believe they know what's best, but this concentration of power creates an environment where questioning becomes difficult and member autonomy diminishes. The more centralized authority becomes, the harder it is for members to influence and change. To influence, change, or express dissent. Bro, I forgot to put commas in. There are no commas here. How did that happen? All right, I need to fix that later, but not now.
It's just for the very end of the sentence, so it's not.
It bothers me, though. I'm going to fix
Yeah,
it. I'm not doing it now, but I'm going to make
it's just
notes so
not
I can
that big
remember to
of an
fix
issue.
it later. Rigid hierarchies create psychological pressure to conform. Members learn that advancement, acceptance, and belonging depend on aligning with leadership expectations. This can lead people to suppress their own judgment and defer to authority, even when their instincts suggest something is wrong. Check this out. I want to show you the back end that I designed because it's like really, really cool. It's a WordPress backend because it's a WordPress website, but I built this cult compass bridge, and it like basically, God, it's so complicated. It's crazy. I can import, like basically I write these files, basically these gigantic database files here called YAML files, and I answer all of the questions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through. And then I give a little explanation for each, all the way down for each group. And then I insert discriminators, is what they're called. These discriminating questions are designed to, like, when the guessing game is not sure which group it is, it'll throw one of these in. If it's like between Jehovah's Witnesses and Scientology, it'll throw one of these in that match up with Jehovah's Witnesses, but not Scientology. And depending on how you answer it, it will change its confidence. So that's generally how it works. And I can edit these YAML files and import them, the cult group data. I can import them right here, and it updates. That's basically how the back end works. And it's got like API points and everything. I haven't done like full programming to this degree in years. This is really, really advanced programming that I couldn't have possibly done like early in my career, my programming career. It's like way too complicated for me to have been able to do before. But anyway, I just want to make sure, like, there are still hiccups and issues that I'm going along and solving, but let's just see what it says here. Okay, I think that's a problem. Yeah, look. See, it isn't pulling the descriptions. That's one of the issues. I'm gonna have to fix that. It's only pulling the descriptions for MAGA for the first section, looks like. But anyway, yeah, I'll fix it. But that's a website. Tell me what you think.